Hello. Today, today I'm going to be going over body slide. Let me get rid of my feedback here I got going on. There we go. Apologies for that. So, like I said, I'm going to be going over the body slide today. It's going to be a in-depth video, so I'm going to try to go a little bit fast. So if you are watching, you may cue in at any given time. You can voice in, type in, and I will try to I'll try to answer any questions you have. I'm going to be working on this is an altered version of something that I altered myself. They were having a little bit of trouble with doubled layer dresses, and really they've got it down to about 3 or 4 dresses inside there, but I think one of them is going to be completely by accident. But I'm going to work on this and fix it, because there's a whole lot of different things here that are really hard, and I want to try to get all the really hard stuff knocked out while I'm also getting the simple stuff all at the same time. So one of the very first things I would like to point out, if you are, sometimes you will have just all kinds of errors and you can't figure out why on a certain outfit, I always suggest hit Control and then the key W, and it will unload your project. That means it will wipe everything clean. You have a brand new, fresh outfit studio. I suggest you always start here. So now that we have started here, I always suggest to do the load outfit. You can import, and I mean you can just go however you want to, but we're going to just take this from starting a brand new project. And the reason you want to do a load outfit is because it will actually save your destination, and you can create the project name. I'm going to create this project is going to be called the Fixer Upper. And now we're going to go from a file, and I really should have copied and pasted this so I wouldn't have to be doing this right here. But you can always go to whatever, yeah, that's actually a good idea to go and show you that. You can go to any folder you want where your meshes are going to be, and you can just hit Control C for copy, and then open this up, and then just hit Control V for paste, and it'll take you to that folder. Makes things just a little bit easier for you to find. You only select one at a time. And for textures, you can just always use the automatically search for textures unless you have a specific one that you're wanting to add to it or change or anything like that. So I just leave it at the automatically and I hit OK. And here is our project that we are working on. Something I'll go ahead and show you right now is that this is definitely not a CBBE standard body. You can tell because the enormous watermelons that she's hiding in her dress. So how are we going to fix that? I will go ahead and show you. You can go ahead and hit load reference, and then from here, this is your CBBE SE body. Of course, you'll see I have about a billion different references. I will be including the file that has all these that I have made, but you'll want to go down to CBBE body and then hit OK. And then whenever it loads, you'll actually notice that you have 2 bodies going. You have this one here, which is the reference, and of course I really messed that up. I'm going to pretend I didn't. No, I'm kidding. I messed that up. I'm going to go ahead and start over here. Control W. We're going to load outfit. After you do this, you can just do the stuff real fast, just like this. Okay, so because your reference is actually going to be named CBBE, we're going to rename this reference to there. This way I know that that is the unique one that I do not want to keep. Now we're going to go to load reference, and we're going to load from the template of the CBBE body. There we go. Now we have actually two bodies inside this one outfit, the CBBE and the CBBE Unique. The best way and simplest way to do this is I have found out that this body here is a SE body. You can tell by the a rather large amount of vertices, and that vertice count really matters. If it's a UNP, you will not be able to do this going from a UNP to CBBE, so you'll actually have to use one of the reference files that's in there. So I do suggest whenever you are using CBBE that you do it this way. If it's an unknown body type and you can't figure it out, there's no reference file already made for it. Making sure I don't have any messages there. So, you raised, reading some of these messages here. So now that we have this body type and the other one, we're going to go down to the original, which is the standard CBBE, and we're going to go to export. Export to object. You can do to object or to FBX. I like to do the to object. And we're just going to slap that on our desktop. The wrong folder. Slap it on the desktop, which I actually already have it right here, but I was going to save over it, no big deal. Yes, I want to replace it. And now something you can do is go ahead and delete that reference file. And then you're going to go down to the unique body one and hit set reference. Now what this will do is anything that I want to change on this reference file, any kind of sliders I make, anything like that, I'll be able to conform the outfit and everything to it. So on that note, I'm going to show you how to make a custom custom body conversion slider. You always want to click on your reference file, which we made that one the reference. Go down to slider, and we're going to go to new slider, and you can just name this whatever you want. Literally whatever you want. And then you will make that slider editable by clicking on the pencil. You'll notice it because it'll turn purple. Then from there, you want to go to slider and import slider data. And remember, we exported as an object, so now we want to import as an object. And we're going to select our file that we exported. Now you'll notice the huge watermelons are now normal size human parts. So it goes back and forth all nice and pretty like. Now what we're going to do with that is we're going to hit conform all. And what I like to do is I just I don't actually grab the sliders and move them. I just kind of click in a blank spot, and I always just bump them up. I call that a dot. Bump it up a dot, down a dot. So I just bump them both up one little section there and hit OK. And it'll take a second, especially if these are high quality and high poly, then it just kind of, it's over there changing every single vertex little by little to get this done. Anytime that you are doing anything body slide, you want to always, inside the Outfit Studio, make it a CBBE SE body. Because you can always change it to whatever you want with all the crazy amount of sliders that are in body slide. So Outfit Studio, you want to make sure that everything you make is going to be set to the CBBE SE body. That is extremely important. So now that everything's conformed to our unique body, and we have this slider that we made, you can just drag that on over, and you'll notice that the dress conforms to the body and the slider that we just made. Whenever you have it where you want it, which we're just going to assume that this is where you want it, you'll go down to slider, then you'll hit set to base shape. Now what that does is you can move any of these sliders wherever you want them in any kind of crazy shape, and as soon as you hit this button here, that's its new standard. And as you see, this reset. Now you can go ahead and do it all over again, and it'll go into a crazy old lady body. And you see, anytime you hit that set base shape, it will set that as the base all over again. But now that we have that done, I want to actually just reset this with it being the reference file and it highlighted. All you gotta do is hit load reference, and we have that one there as we want as our standard, and we'll hit OK. Now everything is back to the vanilla body, or not vanilla, but CBBE based body shape that we want. Then from here, you can go ahead and hit conform all one more time, then hit OK. And this process here is going to be a basic standard conversion from anything to your CBBE SE body style. This is of course a very high poly outfit, so it just takes forever to do this kind of stuff. There, now it's done. And now dresses are extremely hard to do. Some of the things that I will show you with this here, you'll want to start off with the regular body. I'm just going to pretend there's no weights on this dress at all right now. This is just a blank object that I've imported. I'm going to pretend. And I'm going to just select every one of these. You can hold down the shift key and just hit the up and down arrows to highlight every one of them. And then you will right click it and hit copy bone weights. Now what that does is whenever it says copy bone weights, it is always referencing your reference file. If your reference file is let's say a shoe, then it will set all the body and everything to the weights of the shoe. So you really got to pay attention, make sure that your body is the reference file whenever you do that. And now one thing you want to focus on is how close your outfit is to your skin. Now, if it's going to be skin tight, you'll want to leave these settings exactly where they are. Just don't touch them. There's no sense in it. But now, the further away that your skin is from the dress is the further away you want to move these up. The search radius is going to be how far away your weights are going to reach from the reference file. Now, if it's skin tight and leaving it way down there, it doesn't need to search very far because the outfit is skin tight. It doesn't need to go that far. So you are literally telling it, well, let's just go ahead and go out there a ways, because this dress, anytime you're messing with a dress, I suggest you just shoot that thing right on up there as far as it can go. Then you'll hit OK. And of course, you'll have this big long wait if you're using a high poly. If you're using low poly stuff, low quality items, it'll just be done in a matter of a second. And if you're ever wondering about what weights it is that you have, you'll be able to just click on bones, and that's where your list of weights are. This is really going to take its time. Number one issue I see is that we're wearing two of the exact same dress. I'm not real sure why that's happening, but I'm definitely going to get rid of one right now. Well, whenever it's done thinking. That is definitely slowing down the process here. Along with a lot of the sliders, you're going to see things like old base shape, vanilla SE to low, vanilla SE to high. All these things here, these are your preset sliders that are already inside the standard references, in case if you can or if you need to change it from SE to anything else or vice versa. Those sliders are there to help you. Alright, now that's finally done. I'm going to delete that one there. There's no sense in having two of the exact same files. All that is a waste. Alright, now that we have that done, something I'll show you are all these bones. You always want to watch, after you have everything imported, look at all the bones that you have. all those skirt bones you normally won't see, but those skirt bones are there from my red dress here that I have edited and made into a dress. But you'll normally see everything from NPC spine number 2 and up. Sometimes if you are using a HDT item, you will see some really random bones like HRL 235 and some crazy stuff like that. I really suggest just delete every one of those out. Make your normal outfit this way, and then when you're done doing that and you want to add HDT, then you do that later. You always want to just go ahead and make your static one first every time. That's going to help you a lot. But now back to the thing at hand here is we're going to focus on one piece at a time. Let's go ahead and start off with this inner dress. And the best way we're going to be able to do that is go ahead and remove everything that we can without breaking any kind of terms of service. I'm using a couple different things here, so I need to be careful what I'm doing. So now that, wow, that's really how it is. Interesting. Okay, so I got rid of some of the other stuff that was in the way, and we're just going to focus on this underdress 01. You can come over here and click on bones, and everything that is green are things that have bone weights applied to the object that you had selected. There's not a whole lot of them, but there is skirt bones, so that's good. First thing we're going to start on is I always start from top to bottom, so let's go to calf. And as you can see, there is a strict line right here. That is a big no-no. We don't like that. And because you're working on a big dress, you can actually go ahead and use a big brush. And we're just going to be smoothing right now. So let's go ahead and max that brush on out. And the strength, you can just go crazy on it. Just slap that all the way up there too. And then you can click this little arrow to hide those settings so you can get to work on it. You'll hold down the shift key. Hold down the shift key, and that's how you smooth out your weights. And whenever you're messing with high poly, it'll do this. As you can see, you're hardly even editing anything. The way that you can fix that is actually making a smaller brush. You can only edit so many vertices at once, so it compensates for it. Even that's going to be crazy. So another way, I'll skip the smoothing for now and come back to that later. We're going to come back down here with our strength. Anytime that you are applying weight, you actually want to do just a little bit at a time and not go crazy on it. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. If you accidentally do some crazy random edits like this, oops, I didn't mean to do that, you can hit Control Z, and that is the undo key. Let's go a little bit bigger on this brush. There we go. And your main focus is your calf. So we are trying to keep the same weights with the calf, which is right here. The weights that is down here that was standard are going to be the correct weights, and you kind of want to try to make a nice smooth, think circles. Okay, not straight drop-offs. You don't want drop-offs. So we're going to, like I said, just try to copy what it already has. And it ends about right here, so we're not going to go past that mark. But we don't want just drop-off in colors. You see the blue. There we go. The blue part's taken care of now. And we want to focus on this turquoise, and I got to be careful with my brush. So I want to keep my brush only about this high. You see that little red circle, or the big red circle? That's what you're watching real close. And you're trying not to really edit that too much. There we go. Now we're going to concentrate on the yellow circle. There we go. And now you want to try the smoothing process. So you got that kind of close. It's still going to be a little bit goofy, but I do believe you understand the idea. Now we'll take the strength and just shoot that back on up. It's not going to do a real great job, but we're still going to give it a shot. You hold down that shift key, and as you can see, it's kind of making a little bit of waves and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. This is good. That means it's working. What that does is it, instead of that big old drop off that we had, it kind of smooths those out and makes it more even. Cuts out a whole lot of the tearing process that is sometimes created by the computer itself. There we go. That'll be pretty close. Okay, now we're going to go down to the next weight, which is the foot. It's just an itty bitty dot, so we're just going to try to copy that. There's a bit of a drop off here, even though it's still just a light blue. That's still going to make a heck of a difference if you're not going to do it right. We really don't want much strength in it. If we have too much strength, it won't be blue anymore. So we're just going to go here to the drop off, one little tap, be done with that. Same thing with over here. Now the next one, which is going to be your thigh. We said you are going to be focusing on the thigh part, which is this thigh, not this one. So you really don't want to go too far over with it, otherwise you're going to have some serious clipping going on. So we're going to try to match the circles. That'll be about good right there. And we're just going to max out that weight. And I'll show you a quick trick here. You need to start tapping. There we go. Now see, now it's very circle-like. That's good. And then you can go ahead and hold down your shift key and smooth things out. There we go. I apologize if you can hear my enormously fat dog eating everything in my house. He is literally 3 rooms down, and you can still hear him munching down on his dog food. I apologize for that. He won't listen to me anyways, even though I try to tell him to quit. So now we're going to go down to the next weight, which is the pelvis. Now the pelvis is something that you really have to pay attention to. See, there's that red right there. Now what that's going to do, that's going to go with your pelvis, not your legs. When you think about a woman wearing a dress, it's going to be tight around her thighs naturally, which is going to be right through here. So if it's going to be tight from this point here where it's blue all the way to this point, over here where it's red, it's going to go straight down like it's tied to her butt cheeks or something. And it's going to look god-awfully ugly. So I'll show you how to fix that. We're going to definitely want a smaller brush for that area. And I do suggest going to leave your weight way up there for a minute. I'll show you why. That's too small. Okay. Now to take away the weight, you can hold down your Alt key and then push. Just like on your mouse. Just as if you're applying. And now we're going to take away some of that weight, because that's just way too much. And then what you can do is give one little tap. There we go. Now it's going to be close already without even, I mean, that's just very little work I even had to do. But now we're going to smooth this out, because you don't want it tearing when she's trying to move around. And the same thing can be done with the rear end of the dress as well. And every once in a while you're going to see this blue area here. That is actually standard inside the CBBE body. You'll notice it right here. I don't know why it's like that. I actually just remove it every time. I don't see a point in keeping it like that. It's just going to cause a tear. So I remove that. And now your pelvis should move and look right in this area. And now we'll go down to the calf. And of course, just like we did with the other side of the leg, now we're going to do it with this side of the leg. Let's go ahead and get ourselves a big brush going. And we'll just go ahead and just like that. Maybe that was a bit much. That was a bit aggressive. There we go. And now hold down your smooth. Look at that. Bang. That couldn't have gone any better. And you'll notice on mine, number one, is that it's really up and down. See, those lines just kind of just stretch really far up and down, but not very far left and right. That's because of the vertices. I'll go and show you that real quick. You see, they are really close side by side, but far apart when it comes to up and down. That's why it's stretching in that exact pattern, is just because of that alone. I'm going to turn that back off. I don't like all them dots everywhere. Okay. And we're going to do that same thing over here on the back. There we go. Hold down your shift key, smooth it all out. That should be good. It's hard to see what you're doing when everything's black like that. So you just kind of have to do the best you can. There is no real correct answer that's going to fix everything on that. We'll go down to the foot. We'll do the same things we did on the other foot. There we go. And yeah, the dog, he is not really a obese fat dog. I just like to make fun of him. He's a white German Shepherd that is obsessed with his master. I'm pretty sure he thinks he's a human too. Here we are. Now we're over at the thigh, so we're going to be doing the thigh thing all over again for this side. There we go. Now we're going to smooth. That was actually very nice. I liked how that one went. And now the spine, of course, is just the same thing. I always just kind of smooth it out a little bit. Sometimes the spine bones are a little bit rough. There we go. Now we have completely fixed the lower part of a dress. And now naturally we would go ahead and go to the next part of the dress, which is over here, the second layer. And realistically we'd do the exact same thing. Now there is no front of this dress where all that crazy stuff was, so we're not going to bother ourselves with that part. But the back part will basically be doing the same thing. So let's go ahead and go over that real fast. The calf, wish I had like a fast forward button. I could do this real fast. I don't have a fancy editor. This is definitely not nearly as high poly on this part, so the smoothing process is a whole lot better. Some things can be too high poly, and dadgummit if we didn't just happen to find it. There we go. I'm trying to do this real fast because, you know, you've already seen me do this on the front side. But maybe going over it again can kind of help you all. Then here's the spine part. See how that kind of evens out the weights? That was kind of a sharp drop off. There we go. Okay, so now that that part is done, the next stage of the dress, what I like to do is I will go to File and then Import NIF. And the if you have Body Slide, then I'm sure you have Caliente's beautiful body slide. What you'll do is go down to your data folder, Caliente Tools, Body Slide, Shape Data. You go down to the Dawn Guard folder, go down to Body, and then I get confused sometimes. I'm not sure which one it is. I think it's Vampire Clothes. Let's see, I'll find out real fast. Yep, Vampire Clothes. As you can see, it's actually really close to one of my dresses, which is awesome. From here, what you'll do is, it's not the accessories, and it's not that one. There we go. Get rid of those two. And all we have is the dress that is the vampire dress. Why I always reference this one is because it has all the skirt bones that you need. That's every one of them, and that makes it a whole lot easier when they're already there, because then all you gotta do is right click on it and hit set reference. Now the vampire dress is basically like your body. It's a whole lot easier to handle now. Then what you want to do is all those extra bones, which are these skirt bones, you go ahead and just select those bones only, hold down your shift key and move down, highlight all those, and then you can just highlight your entire outfit if you want. Hit right click, and then you'll want to copy the selected weights. Now this one, because we have two dresses, you can just go ahead and do the exact same thing. Just go ahead and shoot those way up. No big deal. Because this isn't skin tight. Remember, the dress is further away. So let's just go ahead and boost those all the way on over right. This shouldn't take too long. Awesome. Didn't take long at all. Now that's done. We can go ahead and delete the vampire dress out. Hit yes. And let's make the original body back to being the reference. And we will go ahead and select the dress. Yep, there it is. The dress mesh. And go back to bones. Well, actually, let's go ahead and just do the underdress. Then we'll go back to bones. And all we're going to focus on now is just these skirt bones. These are all that we edited. I don't know why that one's not there right now. Okay. And you'll see, give you an idea of what these mean. Skirt B bone, that's for the backbone. Skirt backbone 1, 2, and 3. It always starts from the top and works its way down. This is the skirt front bones. As you can see, it starts off way up here, and then as I go down to 2 and 3, it goes downward. So it's going to start off at 1, and I'm just going to hold down my shift key and just smooth that weight out. And do the same thing with number 2. Just smooth it on out. You'll see it's really kind of blotchy. That's because of the extremely low quality of dress that vampire dress was. Now here's number 3, and it's very blocky. What I like to do is I just get right in the middle, and I just tap it once. Get rid of all those crazy blocks. That was senseless and just crazy. And now let's go down to the skirt left bone, which is going to be on your left side. And you really can't see it because of that overdress. So we're just going to kind of just hit the smoothing and just smooth it out the best we can. Same thing with number 2. And then number 3. You kind of see it seeping through a little bit there. Very nice. Same thing with your skirt right bone. Then number 2, and number 3. All right. And then we will want to go down to our, let's see, the regular dress, which is the back one there. We're going to go down the back side and basically do the same thing again. Skirt backbone number 1. Hold down the shift, smooth it all out. Smooth out this, and this is going to be hideous. Bang, look at that. Again, we're just going to tap it one time right in the middle. And something you always got to be a little bit visual on is it doesn't go all the way down to the very end of the dress. And that's simply because the vanilla dress doesn't. And I had nothing to copy the weights to. So I'm just going to tap it one more time down here and do some smoothing around it too. That way it'll look a lot more realistic and how it's supposed to be. Now there's the front. We're doing the same thing again. Just smoothing and smoothing and smoothing. There we go. Left side, right side. Actually, still left side. Now we're going to the right side. And now, I kid you not, that's all there is to it. You will, I mean, whenever you go in game and check this out, you will find that your dress is extremely close to perfect. Probably won't be testing it right now because I'm going to be just strictly focusing on the body slide, and this is for class, and I got to keep this as close to 1 hour as I can. So now that I showed you how to do your weights, I'm going to go over everything in body slide that I can. Obviously this is where all your projects are. You can save, load, add, unload. Unload is that control W key I showed you that can just restart everything. And then this is how you load your reference. Now, anytime that you have let's say a old rim body and you're wanting to make it into a new rim, as I call it, which is special edition body, you can use conversions like that's called Skyrim CBBE to Skyrim Special Edition CBBE. Whenever you select that, it'll go from one body shape just to the other, exactly like how I did with that new adding a slider. And of course, if you use Shaken Mods Mill body slide, all these sliders are going to be there as well. I'm going to hit cancel because I really don't want to do that right now on the new reference. Save project and save project as. That's something I want to show that is very important. Display name fixer. That is what you're going to see. Dang it, I don't have that loaded already. That's going to be what you're going to see up here where it says outfit / body. It'll say fixer right here. That's the name of your project. From there, you'll have the output file name. Now that is the actual mesh name that's going to be inside your folders that they aren't going to really see. And then the output data path, that's where it's going to be after data folder, like it'll be data / meshes / FL Jarl dress. Now this is why I said to load outfit, is because it saves the actual destination of it. So you can put it where you want it and then import it into Outfit Studio and then work from it there, and this is going to be already done. Now if you want a high and low, which is the heavyweight and lightweight, which every single outfit you ever do should always have that on there. If you're doing hair or horns, I say just use the single weighted output. And now this is something I want to really pound into everybody. It drives me nuts when somebody has just one outfit, but it has gloves, boots, pants, a shirt, all these things with one outfit. They'll have 5,000 folders, 5,000 OSP files, and all this. It's just ridiculous. It's unorganized. Stop doing that, people. I hope you are watching my video. That is insane. No reason to do it. This is the outfit fixer. Okay? So I'm just going to leave this as fixer. And if I make gloves for this outfit, I can still just call it fixer. It'll just add to it. Same thing with if I do a pair of boots. Fixer again. It'll add to it every single time. So you can have one file for the entire outfit. So I really suggest you do that. And then if you are a person that's going to be making a lot of outfits, please do this for yourself, for me, for everybody else that even uses body slide. Let's get rid of a lot of the bloat. For example, I'll show you this one. We're going to go down to new. We're going to just go straight to your data folder and Caliente tools, body slide, shape data. Okay. If you are melodic with 10 kajillion outfits, or Coco also, holy cow, guys, quit doing this. Here's how you fix it. Okay. You can make a folder by doing this. Coco, bam. And then you put that little slash in there. This makes the folder for you. And then everything will be in a nice folder that is your folder. It'll save a ton of bloat. They don't have to scroll for 5 days to get to the bottom and find what they're looking for. Okay? That's a big help for you. So every single mod that you make, you can either put it in brackets, parentheses, or just not. You can put, I'm crazy, and that could be you, you know? say I'm crazy, and then slash your new outfit. Okay, this is going to be also another folder. You're going to have folder number 1, which is the author, as I like to say, author. And then the second folder is the outfit project name, Fixer. Okay, and now inside of that folder is going to be this mesh over here that we just built. I'm going to say this is the torso, this is the dress, this is the main outfit. I don't care what we're going to name it. Let's call it dress. Okay, and on things like this where you have the reference file and you want to see the reference file, you'll go ahead and hit copy reference shape into output. Leave that there. If you remove that, that body will be gone. So let's go ahead and click it and keep it there. We'll hit OK. Now it's going to save that. It's going to take a minute because that was a really large, crazy size deal. Okay, that actually went a lot quicker than I thought it would. So now that that's done, if you want to see this file pop up in here, I always just say screw it and I exit out of it and I refresh it. That's how I do it. Other people have their different ways. I just exit out and refresh. And I believe I called that Fixer. Yep, there it is, Fixer. And I'll show you a mistake that we made. Without even looking at it, I know that we done it. Whenever you transfer your, whenever you change reference files, all your sliders disappear. I am going to mute somebody here. All right. So now we have your body. I'll show you whenever you change reference files, you lose your sliders every time. Even though they're still there, they don't do anything. I'll show you with the curvy body. Okay, well, I guess on this one instance it kept everything. Awesomeness has been making some really good updates lately, and I think that was actually one of them that was mentioned on there. So don't always expect it to actually hold on to the sliders, but if it does, wonderful. If not, I'm going to just pretend that it didn't. Here's what we'll do. Now this is what we were working on, and oops, I accidentally exited out of it. All you gotta do is click this here, and it takes the project that is opened up, and it starts you off at that same point. There we go. Now, we're going to pretend that it didn't, none of those sliders worked. There's our reference file. All you got to do is just hit load reference. And there's our CVBE body. Hit OK. Bam. Now we loaded a brand new reference, and then from there, all you got to do is hit conform all. And with the dress, the further away the clothing is from the skin, the further you want to bump those up. And hit OK. Now all your sliders will work as of the moment that it's done conforming everything. Then you'll want to hit file and then save, and then that'll start showing up on the outfit that you made. Now I would like to show you a few other cool things that you can do. This really takes a while. That is absolutely insane. It's just going to take its sweet dear time. There it goes. Okay, so I'm going to start going over buttons. Now this one here is how you start a new project. We definitely don't want to push that without saving our project at hand. And this one here is how you load projects. Now it's 100 times easier to do it from body slide and then use that same button I did to get us here. But if you ever do need to use it, you can just go to load project, which is the same button that was over there, and then you just click on it. Now, LE, which is Legendary Edition, Skyrim projects will actually import right on into Special Edition and vice versa. So there they are. You would just double click on it and it would just pop up, and you'd be able to just start on that project wherever it was left off at. Same. Now import, you can import NIF files, object, FBX. I suggest you do object over FBX in any given time that you are able to. And the from try file with the head, I actually have a video. You should look up the BYONPC mod that I made. It really goes in depth of that, and that alone is an hour video. So go pop some popcorn and watch that one. Now import data. This is going to be a little bit like the try for the head, except it's more like for the outfit. It's kind of a hard thing to explain. That goes. I'll probably end up having to make another hour-long video on what that one does. But export, you kind of have the exact same situation. Export, you can import or export. Kind of already went over that bit. Reverse, and now make conversion reference. Yeah, that's right. Now let's say I have a favorite body set up, and it's something like this. Just going to throw some sliders all crazy like. There we go. Say that's my favorite body. I really like that. I want to make every single outfit that I have into that body. All you do is you just keep all them sliders way over there, whatever. Hit File, make conversion reference. Bam. And I'm going to say test conversion. There we are. Test conversion reference file. Hit OK. Yep, there's that. It takes all your sliders and puts it into one slider. This is awfully handy if you are wanting to combine a few different random things. Like, well, I guess it's really handy, especially whenever you're doing head files. But now you know how to do that. And then pack projects. This is actually a really cool thing that I think was recently added. It's thinking. Give it a second here. Now, basically, if you want to pack your projects exactly like it says, you can just select and literally pack your projects. That's a pretty handy little thing. It saves a lot of time in the long run. And I actually want to say, anytime that you are talking to me and asking for help on body slide, you should always have this left mouse pan selected. And let's override warning, use your BSA textures. I mean, all this stuff's pretty standard, but I don't see how anybody on God's green earth could ever get into body slide at all without that left mouse pan selected. What that does, you can click with your mouse with your left key and just move the body around like this. Okay, a lot of people don't know you can do that. And your right key allows you to rotate. Okay, so left makes it move around, right is rotate in any direction. Now we've gone over that. Let's go over this. Edit, redo, X mirror, edit connected only. Let's see here. That is actually these ones right here. These are actually super handy. Let's say, for example, okay, this is the mirror tool. I'm going to mask, and I'm going to mask. I'm going to select this here real quick, make it a little bit easier. Okay. I'm going to be masking the right arm. It'll copy over to the left arm as well. You see it right here. Anything I do on the left will also be on the right, and or vice versa. We're going to Control Z and undo all that. And now this one here, let's say I don't think there's anything on this outfit that I can use it on. But normally, let's say that you have this piece of the arm is a different mesh than this, but it's all under one file. You could actually separate it by simply, oh wow, it is actually different. That's just a random guess. You see how it does that? These are actually considered as different meshes. It's the same file. See that? You can go like this. But it is actually two separate meshes that has been merged into one. I didn't realize that when I was saying it. I actually just got really lucky. As you can see, it can do that. And now, something I'd like to show you. You know what? I'm going to exit out real quick and restart this little session here so I can show you a zap slider while I'm at that. I believe that was the top. And this is really handy. You can do the mirror and the vertices. Go ahead and hit your mask, go all the way up. That's neat. Now that it's this big and it's selecting everything at once, it doesn't really. It only does that. Cool beans. Now something you can do is, let's go ahead and hit Tool, Invert Mask, and now with that top there, I'm going to hit Sliders and I'm going to do New Zap Slider, and I'm going to type Sleeves. Okay, now what that'll do, and the way that I've done this, whenever I hit OK, see the zap slider is going to zap everything that is not masked on this one mesh. So now what it'll do is it'll get rid of these part of the sleeves with that one zap slider. I'll go ahead and hit save and I'll show you inside there so you can see. Alright, now you'll notice there's a zap slider there. You can click on it and bam, the longer sleeves are gone. And that's how your zap sliders are made, and that's how they work. Now, going back to it, you can, from here, go ahead and clear your mask. And now we're started fresh again. And now let's say that you wanted to remove the top, the top little rings and the medallion thing that's up there. Well, not that medallion. There we go. Say the arm medallion and the little rings. How could I? It's two separate meshes, and I want to remove it with just one little zap slider. That's easy. Select both of them just like I did. Then you'll go down to New Zap Slider. Then you'll hit, let's say, armbands. Just like that. And then you'll hit OK. And then that's what it'll do. Every time you hit that box, it'll say armbands. The whole thing will disappear, both the meshes. Now, then this one here, I really don't know of any situation to not use that. So I don't really even find it worth going over. I just always leave that one on. And these are your different camera views. Let's say you got into some weird view way out here, and oh man, you're just so far away and you don't feel like having to redo all that. You can just simply click on that button. Bam, bam, pow, chow. It's like quick zaps. Pow, right to the front. Okay. And let's see here. You can show wireframe. That is absolutely handy for absolutely nothing. And then you can do the enable lighting. Yeah, you should probably always have that on. And then enable textures, which that is actually the T, the letter T on your keyboard. Woo. And of course, I guess it actually shows what these keys do over on your right. Okay. Now, on the shape tab, you have export. Oh man. That's not much different than just doing the file and export. In fact, I'm thinking that's the exact same. I don't think I've ever actually used that. I really don't know what you'd use that one for. But you have your UV. Actually, I think what that does is you can come over here and just select on the dress, and then you can go to shape. Then you can export just that shape alone, or you can just actually right click on it and do the exact same thing. What that is handy for, like let's say you want to this outfit, you can export the entire thing into one NIF file. You can do it that way, or let's say you want to you like those armbands and you want to export just those little armbands onto your dress. You can go down to arm medallion and that top HD with them both highlighted like that, and you can hit right click and export to an NIF, and it'll be those two shapes inside of one NIF file now, instead of having to import and export that entire outfit and just bloat yourself to death with extra work. You can do it that way. Which I guess the shape section here is the same thing as just right clicking on a shape itself. But you can no, I'm trying to think of something I can use for a reference here. I don't think there's much that I could really use. So let's say you have the top and it's only one arm worth and not the other. You could actually just go ahead and duplicate it by hitting the right click and duplicate, which is right there. Now you'd have two right arms and one left. From that point you could just hit mirror and mirror X, and what it would do is it would take that second copy of the arm and bam, post it to the right side. Very nice and easy. This one here would do the same thing, except it mirrors it to the up and down. I'm sorry, to the Y-axis, and this does the Z-axis. Now, the delete vertices key, that one is very handy too. Again, now we're going to go back to the top, and we're going to do this deal here. Now, let's say actually, let's do this reverse. I want to select this piece here, but let's say I don't want that piece. So I'm going to hit invert mask, and I want to delete these. From here, all I would do is go ahead and right click on it and hit delete vertices, and what that would do is it would delete everything down here on this one mesh. It would make it like the sleeve zap I did, except it wouldn't be zapping anymore, it'd just be gone. Now rename, you can rename your mesh files over here with the rename command. You can set reference, I've gone over that already. Move move is pretty obvious. These are your slide, that's fun. Because I have the top part there masked, it won't move, so the sleeves did. I didn't think about that before I did it, but that's actually pretty cool. Yeah. But anyways, you can do all that fun stuff. And actually, I'll go over that part there too real fast. Now let's say you are converting a old Skyrim outfit to a new Skyrim, and you'll notice that sometimes it's a little bit low, and it's just like not even close to the body as it should be. You should really try hitting this button. It for some reason on some outfits it does that. It's in a whole different spot. You can click that button, and 9 times out of 10 it'll shoot it almost exactly where it's supposed to be. So that's a pretty neat little function there. But literally that is the exact same thing as hitting your F key. And your F key, you can actually do a lot more with your F key. It has rotate commands in there also, so you can move up, down, and all this fun stuff. The top arrow, which you see right there on the green, where it goes, that is up and down, and the square is actually scale. You'll notice it's scaling way up and way down instead of just moving up and down. And same thing with this. And then that square there is scaling wide and skinny. And then the square in the very middle is scale all. Everything that you have selected will scale in every direction. So you have rotates are the big circles, scaling are your squares, and moving are your arrows. Now we're going to hit Control Z and try to put everything back the way it was. There we go. So let's go ahead and continue on. Those are all three of those same things. I said those are in slider form rather than the F key that I did over there. There we go. And then you got copy bone weights. I went over that. Copy selected weights. I went over that. Transfer selected weights. What that'll do is literally transfer them. It'll delete the weights off of something that you don't want them on. It's really no sense in doing that because you could just delete the mesh. And then mask weighted vertices. Now, anything that has weight added to it, it'll go and mask those. It makes it a little bit easier to see. And then from there, you could actually just hit invert your mask, and it's a little bit easier to see whenever you hit the pencil key, because then everything will be red and green. You'll notice there's like a couple red dots, and those things need to have weight added to them. And of course, delete and properties. Delete. What that'll do is that'll send a UFO from outer space. It'll just delete it. Anyway, so go to properties of the mesh. I'm not real sure what name actually does, because it's nothing that you can see. Now that's probably like deep within the NIF that you could only see inside of NifScope, so I always just leave that blank. And the type, you can go through there and select what it is you're working on. Environment map kinda doesn't really work on Alphite Studio. The environment map, if you actually want to use environment map, you'll need to open it up inside of NifScope, and you will see, like, you can just change this to something that you'll remember, like World Map 2, then open up inside of NifScope, and you'll see where it says World Map 2, and then you'll be able to change it to environment map. And then it'll be inside the flag shader number 1. You'll also have to check environment map again. Now, it changes environment map for you, but that second flag I was telling you about, the Alphite Studio won't do that for you. You gotta do that on your own. I'm not sure the reasoning for it. But if you are not making a environment map, then you need to leave it default. If you try to make environment map and you don't actually add one, it'll crash your game every single time you come anywhere near it. As an auto CTD. Specular color. What this does is it changes the reflection color. Like, let's say this person's walking up to you and they're wearing a whole chrome outfit. If you have this set to pink, well, the reflection from the sun will be a pink sun and a pink sword coming at you, a pink anything. Crazy. And the specular strength is going to be how much of a shine it actually has, like how strong of a shine. Specular power, on the other hand, what the specular power does is whenever you are making your textures, you'll notice that specular map that you make. That will increase, like you'll have a black and a white. Anything that will be white will be high density color almost. It's hard to explain. In fact, here, I'll just show you on one. I'm going to change this to 500. 5,000, sure, why not? And that made very little difference. Normally it would be extreme if this had a good normal map. Tells me I need to make a better normal map for it. But anyways, emissive, color, and multiple, you'll really virtually never use those. I never do. I don't know them well enough to hardly even be able to teach you on that part. But now as far as textures go, it should always have the add grayed out and the remove. Just be cautious, don't ever hit that button unless you want to delete every single texture off this outfit. Just leave that alone. But you can go to your textures, and this is where you would, damn that cat. This is where you would assign textures to this outfit. That's your normal map, your environment map, which it actually has one, so you could change the environment map to actually be in there. And then your environment mask, which is a whole different thing. But there it is for that as well. And then geometry. Now this is also a new one that Osneous added recently. Dynamic. Anytime that you are messing with SSE, to make it a little bit more optimized, go ahead, just click that. That's going to help us all out. That makes everybody happy. And then extra data. This is mostly if you're going to be doing anything HDT, or if you're making heals, you can use the NI float extra data, which I have a video on that. Look up everything you need to know about heals. That's on there. And let's see here. Partitions. Okay, partitions is very important. Now, let's say you're inside the plugin for this outfit, and you added it, and you'll notice that there's partitions on your outfit inside of Creation Kit when you're adding it. That'll be on your armor add-on. You will have to know every single thing that is on your body on this outfit. So if I were you, the easiest way to go about this is you could set everything here to being the 32 body, and then in the plugin you just have to leave it as 32 body as well. But now let's say that you want to do something crazy and make this 57, the shoulder part, and you hit apply. Now at this point, if you just leave it all the flags as 32 body, then this piece here will not show up in game anymore. If you do not have it set on the plugin, then it will not show up. Alright, let's see here. Sliders and presets. We will be going over presets here real soon. I'm actually almost done with this part here. Colors, you can just play around with that if you want. That's nothing that's going to show in game hardly. And this ambient light, you can actually change. This is just for Outfit Studio. It just kind of changes how you want to see things. Like if you think it's too dark in here and you want to brighten it up, you can brighten it up. You can play with these, the directions, all that fun stuff, and just for your own personal editing ability to see things better if you need to. And let's see here. That's everything there. Let's go down to slider. Conform, we've already been over that. We've been over that. Save and load preset. Now, this isn't what you think it is. This is going to be basically for Outfit Studio only, not exactly body slide. It has very little use, but you could literally move all your sliders around and then hit save preset, and then you could load that to being every single time. Like let's say let's say you're importing a Fallout 4 mod and all of them are UNP, but it's its own UNP. You could actually do this load and save preset thing for it, and you could make it to where it turns it into CBBE SE. But, then again, you have your reference files for that just as well. So, like I said, this is kind of really outdated. That was there from the very beginning. Anyways, new slider. Now, that's actually a pretty neat little project. Pretty cool tool. We're going to go with the top, which is this top piece right here. And I'm going to say slider, new slider. Now, I'm going to say crazy move. Move, apparently. There we go. Crazy move. Hit OK. And it'll always add it to the very bottom. So let's scroll on down there and see the new slider I made. It doesn't do anything, though. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't. Here's what we'll do. We're going to, with it being in the editing mode, you can just do whatever crazy thing you can possibly... Whoop. No nudity. Apologize. There we go. So now we're going to have some crazy edit like that. And now you turn off the editing, and every single time you move your slider, it'll have that new slider move that you just made. Of course, it wouldn't really be for something as dumb like that I did. But you can go back to your editing mode, and you can actually hit your delete key, and it will actually remove that slider you made. But that is how you can add sliders and change sliders, manipulate whatever you need to do with sliders. And I do believe I went over new zap sliders. And then what this one here does is it kind of combines your sliders as well as what that other one did I showed you about, except the other one does all sliders. Now, import OSD and export OSD. And same thing with the trimorphs. These are actually really cool tools. Let's say that you made about 100 brand new sliders for this one outfit. and you think, I really want to keep on doing that every single time. I want this on every single outfit that I do. So what you would do after you make all those sliders is you can just go ahead and hit export OSD or export trimorphs. It don't matter; they both pretty much do the exact same thing. And from that point on, let's say you made a new outfit, and you're like, I want to import those sliders I did from the other job. You just go back and hit import trimorphs, and it will load all those sliders back to the same named parts. So basically, your CBBE body, as long as it's named the same, that all those sliders go back to your CBBE body, and you could just conform your outfit to it, and everything would have all those 100 sliders that you've done again. So that really saves you a lot of time. In fact, the BYO NPC mod that I have, there is 300 sliders that are there, and that's how I did it. You can just hit import trimorph and import the 2 to 3 solid weeks I spent making all those crazy sliders, and you can do it in an instant now. And the import slider data and export slider data, the only way that works is if you have something already selected. Like this, it's in edit mode. From edit mode, you can go to slider, and now you can export that one slider. And this is just your slider file, a BSD. Or if you want, you can export it as an object, which is really how I do it every time. Now from there, you can import and export your slider data. And let's say, with that being done, you could just create a new slider under the slider one and hit new slider, and you could import the slider data. In fact, I actually did that, making this dress back to a CBBE SE slider at the very beginning of the video. Now, negate slider, mask affected vertices, clear slider data, and delete slider. Those are all just as they say. In fact, clear slider data, that's actually a pretty neat one that I want to show you too. Watch this. You'll probably get a crack out of it. I'm going to say the 7B upper, okay? I'm going to put that in edit mode. And I'm going to go to the mask. There we go, mask, and I'm going to get rid of the mirror. Let's say I have some crazy dreams about this one woman that I met at a fair. She had a beard. There we go. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to mask this one breast. And I'm going to hit clear slider data. What this does is it exactly like it says. It'll clear this one slider's data, except for the stuff that I have masked. Yeah. That's what it'll do right there. Now, from there, then you can delete the slider, or you can actually go to these slider properties. That's actually a neat one. Go slider properties. See here, now you can change the name of the slider, or you can change the values of the high and low, how strong it is and whatnot. You can actually change it into a zap. You can change it into a UV slider or a hidden slider. Like let's say I make a zap, and I'm just doing it so I can get rid of the underbody of this dress because no one's gonna be able to see it anyways. After I make the zap slider, I can click on hidden, and now it'll be always zapped, but it'll be hidden, and it'll still be over here where I can still edit it if I need to, but that's how I would hide that. And now let's say that hold on, let me catch up on some of these messages. It says, can you quick show me how to zap body slide parts from the reference body in game? It's not shown, but in Outfit Studio, it's there, so I can't properly edit it. This window right now, how do I open it? Okay. There it is, 7B upper. Let me choose a different one now. 7B lower, okay? With that being in edit mode, you can click that pencil to make it in edit mode. Get onto slider, and then properties. So you're basically saying slider properties. Here it is. From here, you can just go down to hidden, and it'll make that slider hidden. Just like that, there you go. And now invert would actually invert your zap or anything, however what you're doing, it basically inverts that slider for you. Now, that's everything on that one. Tools, that's everything you see here. I've actually gone over every one of these now. Mask more, mask less, those are things I haven't, but you can play with that and figure that out very easily. That's hardly really used. I don't know, I don't really use it much. And those here you can do with the slider. Really, almost everything down here except for the invert mask and clear mask you'll never really use, because there's just quick keys down here for all that stuff. And I'm trying to think about anything else that I could possibly cover here. Hello, TAP Gaming. That is, that's a very cool guy right there, John. So, actually, one of the things that I would like to show you while I'm at this, we're going to go down to Shape Data, and we're going to find, I don't think it was in Shape Data, actually. There's just a couple of things that I would like to show you inside of NifScope that are pretty important things that most people don't ever do or notice. Now, to make yours look like mine, it's not standard to be this way, but it makes it a whole lot easier. There we are. Wow, that outfit has some serious issues to begin with. Anyways, so to make yours look like this, where you can edit things a lot easier, you'll want to go down to block list, show block entry. I really beg you to do it that way. It'll make everything so much easier to understand what you're doing. But now, anyways, let's go back to the outfit here. Now, let's say you like your outfits a little bit lewd. If you do, you are like me, which is awesome. All the cool people do this. Here's some things. You can go down to these little footprints, and that's called walk mode. Literally, you can, it'd be just like Skyrim. You have the W key moves forward, and S key moves backwards, all that fun stuff. Just like walking in Skyrim. So this way, if you're trying to edit one part, you can really just focus in on it. And you can click on something just like that, and it'll just drop you right to that outfit. Now, when you're in this tree mode, you can hit that right key or just hit the little drop down. You can go down to BS Lighting Shader, and then you go down to Alpha. Now, this is, I know that Alpha Studio has its own little transparency thing, but it doesn't really make it transparent by any means. This one here does. 1 means fully transparent, as 0 means completely invisible. You do 0.5. See that? You can actually see the skin through it. Now it's more like a sheer look. In fact, I'll just show you what 0.1 does. It's almost like it's not even there. So this is actually a much better way of making sheer things inside of Skyrim, is using that alpha part. And I'll go ahead and show you back here. Actually, that's in the right spot. If you remember how I was going over the environment map, anytime that you are having an environment map, you always want to come over here and make sure that this says environment map also, because Outfit Studio does not add that at all. How do you change that? Just double click on that area, hit the little drop down box, and then you come over here and hit environment map. It's off, now it's on. Off, on. Real simple, real nice. And anytime that you ever make an outfit, ever at all, make anything, do this for yourself. Double click that and make it double-sided. Otherwise, if you don't, people are going to get in these really awkward positions in games, say, hey, how come I can see right through it? Well, it's because the texture is not double-sided. It looks goofy, it looks dumb. Make that double-sided. Help everybody out, help yourself out. It adds quality. And it just doesn't add any kind of extra rendering, no extra frames per second, no nothing. Just do it, make your outfit look a whole lot better. And some of the cool things that you can do is, let's say you have two different pieces here and they need to have the exact same texture, you can actually click right here on this spot here and hit Control C. It doesn't show that you've done anything, but I'm going to show you this, is you can go down to another spot here and just click that same spot and hit Control V, and it'll transfer the textures to that object. That was a very good one. Let me show you. Here we are, dress. It probably actually has the exact same one. We'll find out. Nope, it doesn't. Perfect. So you can see what I did there. You can just change all these and copy up the whole section and paste off the whole section. And that actually goes with a whole lot of different things, like this one right here. In fact, here I'll show you on the one that we did over here. There's the double-sided key, right? Double-sided flag. You can just hit Control C on your keyboard and then come on over here and hit that same area and hit Control V. And all the flags that I have on the other one copies over to this one, exactly the same. And that can be done with any of this stuff. It can just save you a ton of time instead of having to type all that out and go all crazy with it. And you can do that with colors as well, numbers, any of this stuff. And over here, you can just double click on it. You can set your RGB, or you can actually just click on this color wheel and change the color this way. So there's those options as well. Now with hairs, you'll have one extra color down here. That's your hair color. Now, let's say you're using Creation Kit or even Race Menu, and you're trying to find a color, but you can't find it. Oh well, you can open up that head part or outfit inside of here. Go down to that very bottom one, and which that's not one right there, but there'll be an extra color wheel like this down here, and you can click on it. You can change the color of the hair, the color of the skin, anything with that. And that is going to be it. If you have any questions or anything, you can contact me on my Discord, which is going to be in the lower left hand corner of the screen. You can contact me. My name is Shaken. You have a great day. And I'm very slow at exiting out of this. Apologies.